What's up, you guys? My name is Indy Jamma Jones, and this episode is called Why Are Roller Skates So Expensive? Why? You know? So why are roller skates and roller skating as a whole so expensive? Well, there's actually a few very good reasons that will help you understand why some things cost as much money as they do. And then there are a couple of reasons that are quite frustrating and actually shouldn't be a thing. So I'm gonna break it down for you guys. But first, this video is sponsored by Skillshare Premium. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creators. Explore new skills, deepen existing passions, and get lost in creativity. With topics like film and video, music, lifestyle, and productivity, there's something for everyone. My personal favorite has been Yasmin Cheyenne's class called Writing for Self-Discovery, 6 Journaling Prompts for Gratitude and Growth. I've always wanted to journal, but I never knew where to start. And with her prompts, I'm learning how to write in a way that helps me cultivate progress in my personal life and in my roller skating journey. It's curated specifically for learning, meaning there are no ads and they're always launching new premium classes so you can stay focused and follow wherever your creativity takes you. The first 1,000 people to use the link in my description will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare Premium, but the current offer is a limited time offer only available through September 2021. So be sure to click the link in the description before the offer is gone. All right, back to the video. Okay, so one of the questions I get, or one of the comments I get on my videos all the time is, why are they so expensive? A lot of times I hear new skaters say like, oh, I really want to get into skating, but I can't afford it. It's too much of an investment. And I totally understand that. If you've watched many of my reviews, especially for lower price point skates, it's a pretty good rule of thumb that functioning skatable skates are going to be a minimum of $100. And those are the skates that aren't very durable, that won't last long, they're usually not comfortable. And that doesn't even include the gear like your helmet, you know, pads, toe covers, replacing the toe stops, elbow pads, even wrist guards, you know, and laces, and if you want grind blocks. So very quickly, when you start looking at buying skates, it's a bit overwhelming. Things can get really expensive really fast. I don't want new skaters to get discouraged when they hear about the upfront investment that it's going to take, but I do want you to be able to make educated decisions so that you don't end up investing all your money in a pair of skates that's going to just fall apart on you in 2 weeks, you know? I want to make sure that y'all know that a lot of the time it really is worth saving up that extra money and waiting a bit longer to get the higher quality skates. And maybe once I break down like why they're so expensive, it'll help you understand why the bigger investment is almost always worth it. But then I also want you to know that there are other ways to get skates without spending hundreds of dollars. So don't get discouraged. Stay tuned because I'm going to help you figure out how you can join the wonderful world of roller skating, aka Planet Roller Skate, without going into complete and total debt. Okay, so first let's break down why they're so expensive. And we are going to start with just the components themselves, with all the bits and pieces that come together to make this skate. So here's one way to think about it. Roller skates are pretty much 2 skateboards plus a really nice pair of shoes. So how much is like one complete build skateboard? I'm thinking like lower price point, probably $80. It could easily go up to like $150 or more. So imagine that you have to have 2 of those and then a pair of shoes, like a really good pair of shoes that's like so durable that you're gonna be able to like yank on the sole and it won't fall apart. Attached to that pair of shoes, you have 2 plates. Those 2 plates hold 2 toe stops, 4 trucks, 8 wheels, 16 bearings. That's a lot. And then of course, all of the nuts and the bolts and the bushings and all of the other little pieces that you need to hold everything together and make it work the right way. Like, look at all of the different materials and manufacturing processes these use. You need a factory that can make bearings, a factory that can pour wheels and toe stops and rubbers and stuff, and then you need a factory that can make shoes, and also a factory that can cast aluminum and other metals. So all of these things don't normally happen in the same place. In fact, I'm not completely sure, but I'm gonna go ahead and say that there's probably not a factory or a manufacturer or a brand that makes all of these components in one place. So anytime that these different components are moving from one factory to the other, that adds to the cost. Not just for shipping, but because the wheel manufacturer is going to charge an upcharge to be able to make money when they sell the wheels to the brand that's buying them. Even if you're just looking at a pair of shoes and these parts bought separately, that's a lot of money. So when you start to think about all of the tiny little details involved in making a complete skate, it's pretty easy to understand why they are so expensive. But there are also some other factors at play right now that are making the cost of skates go up that are not so fair. So during quarantine and even before quarantine, roller skates were in very high demand. A lot of folks, as I'm sure you know, started to pick up new hobbies, and everybody was getting stimulus checks, so they were able to invest in those hobbies, and it made roller skates so difficult to get. Like, the demand for skates skyrocketed and the supply was not there to meet the demand. So even now there are people on wait lists that are still waiting to get quality skates. So what that means is people are buying skates and then selling them online for a higher price. It's like the shoe hype game. You know, if there's a brand like Moxie that people really, really want to get their hands on, some people are going to be willing to pay 2 or 3 times as much the normal cost to get their hands on skates sooner instead of waiting. But what that does is it encourages people to price gouge. It encourages people to buy up this stock and then resell online, which is, I don't know, like, I guess it depends on your mindset. Like, as a skater, it really, really sucks to see somebody selling a pair of used roller skates for 5 times the price of a new pair, because it just makes it a very exclusive. It's like, oh, you can skate, but only if you're rich and you can afford it. And that's not fair. It's inevitable. It's gonna happen because that's just how business and supply and demand works. But it's good to be educated on the actual cost of things so that you don't get taken advantage of. Again, like, if I had the money and I didn't want to wait, I might pay triple for a pair of skates. I guess I wouldn't judge somebody for doing that, but it is just one of the realities of the skate industry right now that is very, very frustrating, especially when it comes to new skaters getting involved. So if you are looking for skates and you're looking at used skates online, if somebody's reselling them, just make sure you go to the manufacturer's website and double check the actual price that the brands are selling them as so that you don't get taken advantage of. And even then, if you're willing to pay a lot for that, I mean, I won't judge you, but I do think it's, I don't know, like, it's just not cool. It's not cool for people to sell skates for way more than their actual value. But value changes based on demand. I don't know, you guys, what do you think? Let me know in the comments below, because I honestly keep going back and forth. Like, one hand, like, it's business, supply, demand, and on the other hand, I'm like, that's not cool. Don't do that. That's not good for the skate community. I go back and forth. So let me know in the comments below what you think about people selling skates for higher prices when the demand is higher. Hopefully I will be able to help you understand the actual value of a skate versus what the company is selling it for. So how can you get skates without investing a ton of money? There are a few different ways. So the first thing I recommend if you are really budget focused is looking for used skates. So my first pair of skates that I ever bought when I joined the roller derby was actually from Craigslist. I don't know if anybody uses Craigslist anymore, but I was able to get a pair of Rydell R3s, knee pads, elbow pads, wrist guards, even a mouth guard and a helmet, like an entire derby setup for around like $120. And it was because the person bought it, they tried derby, and they just decided it wasn't for them. So I got a really great deal on an entire beginner setup. So if that's what you are trying to do, I would definitely look online. There are a lot of different places, apps like OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace, there's Poshmark, there's Depop. There are a ton of Facebook groups with like secondhand gear. And actually, if y'all know of any of those Facebook groups, will you tag them down below so that everybody can find them? Because I'm not so sure those, and y'all probably know about more than I do even. And even if it's not exactly what you're looking for, you can always buy new components like wheels or bearings to like fix them up and make them better. Another thing that makes skates a bit more accessible are programs like Afterpay or Klarna, or I know PayPal even has a thing where you pay in installments. So a lot of times when you buy skates online now, you can actually finance them. If you don't want to wait for skates and you want to get skating now, sometimes it's worth it to buy a pair of those lower price point skates that you know aren't going to last as long so that you can ride those and get used to skating, and in the meantime save up and get on a wait list for higher quality skates. So, you know, you might just want to think about it like, okay, I'm going to be buying some $350 suede boots, but I have to get on the wait list, and it's going to take 3 months for me to get those suede boots. So in the meantime, I'm going to spend the $100 I have now on a pair of Candy Girls, and then at the end of those 3 months, I'll, you know, hopefully be getting my next bigger and better pair. So that's another way to do it that I've heard people doing before. I've also heard of people buying like Impalas and then riding them for as long as they can. And as you get better and more skilled at skating, you can change out different components. You can get better wheels, you can get better bearings. The thing about Impalas though is the boot falls apart. So I actually don't recommend them if you plan on skating long term. But at that $99 price point, you also have the Moxie Rainbow Riders and the Candy Girls, which both look like great options. I have a Candy Girl review. I will put it right here. But just know that the expensive options are more expensive, usually because they're better quality. The price of the skate almost always correlates with the quality. Oh yeah, another way to get access to skates is to borrow them. A lot of roller rinks, pretty much every roller rink ever, has rentals. So if you can't afford skates, go to the rink, rent some of theirs. Also, a lot of times if you are going to a skate meetup, you can always ask the people there if they have extra skates. I always carry any extra skates I have to meetups because you never know when people are going to want to give it a try. A lot of the people in the skate community are happy to share what they have, and they just want to get people skating. So we broke down why skates are so expensive. I gave you some tips on how to find budget-friendly skates. And now I'm going to leave you with a public service announcement / warning. Because skates are in such high demand, a lot of companies are capitalizing on people that want their skates now and want their skates for a cheaper price. Prime example is the Why Are You Dolls Kill video I just did. Not only are those skates a really bad, cheap, fake skate, they're also charging $140 for them, which is a price point that you should be able to get a pretty good skate at. So companies are coming in and taking advantage of this situation, and it makes me incredibly angry because people aren't looking out for the skater or for the safety of the person. They are just looking to make a quick check, to make some quick money, and they are capitalizing and taking advantage of real skaters that have been working incredibly hard to build a healthy skate community. It does not sit right with me. It makes me very upset, and I think the only thing that I can do about it is educate you guys on what to look out for. So coming up very soon after this episode, I'm going to make an episode about red flags that you need to watch out for when you're buying a skate. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss that episode. And you know, I think that's everything for today. Don't get discouraged. Yes, it can be an expensive hobby, but it's worth it. And when you invest that money in better quality stuff, it's going to last you way longer. And in the long run, you'll end up saving money by buying the more expensive stuff. So I hope you guys found this helpful. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, later, skaters. Woo! Shout out Kathy and Clint for letting me film in their really cool apartment because it's raining in Galveston today. Thank you guys.